Hello and welcome to Győr, Hungary for the 2019 edition of the European Ultimate Championships. A pleasure to be here. I'm Stefan Rapazzo and I'm joined with Joanna Hamer. Joanna, tell us about this game, what we've got in front of us for this second fixture of day one.
Yeah, this is the second game of the tournament, the second round of games. It is quite hot here in Dior.
Understatement.
Yeah, potentially an understatement. It's going to get hotter throughout the day, I think. So I expect the heat to play a factor in the play here. It's also quite windy, a bit gusty as well. We've got not too much cover around the sides of this pitch, so it's a bit blustery. We're also on AstroTurf out here, which makes a bit of a difference. But we've got Poland versus Belarus mixed squads. We had a bit of a chat with both of the teams before this game. This is their first game of the day, first game of the tournament. And for Belarus, which is the first mixed team from Belarus, this is their first ever game as a national team. So that is really exciting. I think we'll see the teams have warmed up and they're ready to play. I believe that Belarus is coming in on defense, Poland on offense. We spoke a little bit to the teams about the heat. Both of them say that they're planned for it and expect to manage it. But the Polish team said it was hotter in Poland last week than it is here now. So I think we'll expect the teams to have their athletes will be ready for it and they'll be up to the challenge.
Excited to see how this one shapes up. The AstroTurf always a heat challenge. The black rubber pellets we all know so well from filling our laundry rooms and washing machines up over the years. Also excellent conductors of heat, which is probably not the most glorifying attribute that they have, but they are going to sweat regardless of how hot it was in Poland last week. It's hot here in Hungary. The sun beating off of this field, and we're just about ready to begin. These teams, as you said, Belarus, their first incarnation of a mixed squad representing the country. The Poles have done it on a few occasions. Both will be probably fighting their way from the bottom up in this division, the way it looks on paper, with Finland and Switzerland in the pool, probably the two expected to push through. Third place in this division is probably the tougher one to tell, but you never know how it's all going to shape up after all.
And never underestimate the advantage of being the underdog as well, particularly in your first season. A lot of people will be rooting for Belarus. Really great to have new teams coming into the tournament. I think people will be really excited about that.
First season and first game of a tournament. I mean, 5 months, 6 months, who knows how long the campaign was. So much preparation leading up to this moment. Teams often do put it all on the line. They don't save much. Their best players get a lot of burn in these first games, and they really fight for everything tooth and nail. So I think we've got all the potential for a blinder. You stay with us on your device, on your laptop, here on Alti TV, brought to you by FanSeat. The action is about to begin, and it's always yours for the taking if you're on FanSeat and watching.
And if you've been watching the stream, you already know, but just as a reminder, it's game to 15. There's a cap at 100 minutes, but that gives us a lot of time, so we expect most games to go pretty close to 15. Half at 8, pretty regular regulation European Championship level games. Gives us lots of time to watch the action.
Only moments away now. Teams have their 7 on. Your speculation indeed was right, Joanna. The Belarusians with disc in hand, ready to pull. I just did a game on this field here. There was a substantial left to right wind advantage. We saw a lot more goals going into that end zone to the right. A lot of pulls that were held deep in Callahan country in that end as well. We'll see if that trend continues here. Kananovic with the big floating pull. We're underway here. Schwach kicks things off for the Poles. Marsalic. Poland puts it deep, straightaway shot to the end zone. We've got the chase. It's on, it's there. What a connection. Chaplinska with the goal. The Poles strike right away with a very effective deep shot. That's going to make the Belarusians have to adjust.
Yeah, super strong opening point there. Really great weighted disc as well, going with the wind. Sat up, didn't die too quickly, went right into the arms of the receiver. Strong showing from Russia. Belarus playing strong, hard defense. There's not much you can do against a throw like that.
Chaplinska really did well to keep the Jets on. Look at her get a bit more separation the further that point goes on. Two hands, safe as houses.
Now we'll get the first chance to see the first ever Belarusian O-line, Belarusian O-line. Hopefully we'll see a similar thing to what we just saw from Poland, some nice chilly offense, taking the offensive structure that they want to take.
The onus is on them now to respond when the opening point holds. There's that much more pressure going down. A break in the first two is not the optimal. Let's see the Belarusians prevent that from happening. Here they come. Setting up in a vertical stack, very standard. Gets the first, Bimachov. Centering. Backhand, big gainer into the attacking half. Over the shoulder, backhand there, cheeky looking throw. Belarusians look good, 5 throws in, reset. Stall count mounting now, gets his dump off. Bimachkov gets it again, defense is on the hip, but not quite there. Belarus still in attacking zone, setting up an end zone offense. Dumps come, now a Hail Mary. Into space, but the Poles take care of that one, knock it away. The throw was ill-advised, and a stall count is what's being indicated now. That throw will not count for anything, not even the turnover that eventuated from it.
Nice heads-up D from Poland on that throw, even though it's going back to the stall out. Great pressure from the Polish defender to be the first one at that disc.
Poland now set to attack, looking for their first opportunity to break. Marcelek gets the upline, cheeky throw. What a great grab, strong hand to hang on to that one. Now some good continuation out of Poland. Gainer. Kuzmitskaya continues on. Bit of a speculator to maintain possession. Goal, not quite there. Svrajvil can't hang on to that one. It's just a bit behind her.
Yeah, Shrevia really, she's got a hand on that, but the wind is quite gusty and it's quite easy to tip off the fingertips there.
So, first break opportunity goes for naught. And Belarus, a second opportunity to hold on this all-important second point of the game.
Stuck on the end zone corner, but if there's a direction of the wind, it's going with the wind, so it's not the absolute worst coffin corner, although the wind obviously still does affect.
Of course, but you do have the bailout with the Huck and D style defense if you get high stall counts or nothing coming, but they do get a nice gainer, get it out of harm's way early. Wind up, shot for goal. Defense is coming. Is well read. What a bid on the second effort. Lays himself flat and picks it up. I thought it was all but gone, but Bikamov, he goes up, he goes down, and finally finds that treat in his hand. Belarus answers on their second effort.
Great effort there. I think he had 3 shots at catching that disc. Third time lucky. The notes that we've got for Pimikao from his team is just that he's a speedy player and to watch out for his speed. I think we see that there with the deep cut, getting the initial separation and then chasing it down and catching it.
I thought the D had a chance for a second there. I think the first up, the D left his feet just a bit early and allowed for that second effort.
And again, in the swirly wind, I think we saw both players turn around about 360 degrees, tracking the disc in the air. It's going to bobble. You're going to need to get under it and then adjust to its movement. So we're going to see a lot of opportunities for second catches and bobbles.
So, Belarus D-line set to pull. Starinsky. Props out to the uniform design on both these teams. Nice big legible numbers back and front and shorts. What we love to see in these commentary booths. So those of you who don't meet those requirements, take note and make sure future uniforms are up to snuff so we can call it that much better for you. Glorify your games.
Definitely worth it. If you want to hear your name on the stream, we have to know who you are.
Adam Tomczyk walks the disc to the brick mark and puts it into a play with a dump. A hand block there. I looked away for a second, either a hand block or a very errant throw.
Yeah, good defense downfield though from the Belarusian defenders, stifling a lot of those cuts.
Budnik for Belarus wants the up line. That's all he has on offer right now. Now he gets the swing. Defense comes and clobbering with a bit of contact. She said she dropped it first and retracted. The contact was a little bit dangerous, but I do agree it didn't affect the play. Very classy play by the Belarusian Ivashenka. Poland into the attacking half. Long possession there. Finally gets it away before the stall count gets the best of her. Pulls on the doorstep, and as I said it, the bobbled disc by Tomczyk. Belarus with another opportunity here.
Yeah, great pressure, taking advantage of the fact that that wind is quite hard. Keeping the hands low, the throws have to go high.
Slava Starinsky can't get the throw to go. Tried the around, not enough on it. Now they try and strike right away, and they get away with it. Is he in? He is. He celebrates with what looks like a centering pass, but that was a spike, I believe. The goal counts. Poland up 2-1. That goal goes to Jacob Robel. Here's another look at it. There's the turnover there. As you said, the shifty winds getting the best of some of these throws. There's another one. So a sloppy series of events. Here's the pickup and score. Great shot, small space there. Counts for a goal, and his celebration really does look like he wasn't sure he got the goal or not, but he was. It's
Emphatic.
A goal.
Yeah, great cut there by Brubel.
So, how's Györ been treating you one day in so far, Joanna?
Yeah, I've seen it for one day. I think definitely haven't seen as much of the town as I would like to. I've seen some aerial drone flyover shots at halftime that look amazing. Definitely haven't gotten to that part of the city yet.
Great bumper work by Dom Collins on the crew. Put a great little bumper together to get you viewers at home a tastier look of what we get to see live in person here in Györ. Belarus on the attack. Oh, and the attack doesn't last long, and he may have punctured the disc with his cleat on the landing. Pimachov.
Yeah, so that's Pimachov who scored the previous point. Clearly a very speedy, fast cutter, potentially just thinking about the next throw before finishing the catch. First game jitters, very likely in such a high-stakes scenario. And I think we'll see if Belarus can iron them out. I think that'll make a huge difference if they can just bring the chill in, remember that they're here because they deserve to be here, and just get calm and execute.
Spacek, oh, gets the miscommunication, and Belarus gets it straight back. He wanted the up line. His cutter was looking to come back and help on the dump, and they end up without possession. Belarus from their own end. The Polish defense playing off the mark quite substantially, trying to take away those centering throwing lanes. And Belarus doing nothing but retreating for the moment, playing out of their own end. McKay. Oh, and another miscue. Let's see how quick the Poles can capitalize. He's winding up in that squat position. There's the throw to goal black, but there's not a call on the play. Just nobody in sight. The Poles can celebrate. Another one on the board, Daniel Black. I recognize him from, sorry, that's Maciej Pajak. Daniel Black, the other one wearing green. I recognized him from the Flow team, club team in Wrocław, Poland.
Yeah, the Polish team told us that they're from a variety of cities, mostly Wrocław and Warsaw. So the majority of the players coming from those two central cities, but then a few from other places as well. And their big goal for this team that they wanted to put together was to be a team without any star players. So one of the stats that they put in was that they wanted more than 3/4 of their players to be difference makers, to be go-to players. So they're looking to have a really even roster and have playmakers up and down their numbers, which is great.
That's the way to build a club structure, of course. Then if you do get a superstar joins the ranks, it only helps. You may feed them a tiny bit more if they can do that much more, but really to have a club system with homogeny like that only bodes well. A skip pull, don't see those too many times. I'm not sure that was the way he planned it, but a skip nonetheless, and we see a Polish zone setting up now against Belarus, and effective so far. A lot of pressure on the first two passes, put a bit of space now. 3 throws in. Belarus finding ways through the zone thus far, continuing upfield, entering the red zone here. Dump pass, and having a difficult string of events is Pimakov. Another clap drop there. He's going to get those jitters out now. He's had his opportunity. Stop thinking about it. Play on. Unfortunate ones they are, but the nature of this game. Here comes Poland. Centers with and around. Upfield through hands and smacked down. Belarus again. Roshchenka gets the pass off, wants it back, has it near sideline action. Poland slow to reset their zone, and as I said it, we get the run through defense, so maybe they knew exactly what they were doing there. They get it upfield after 2 throws, but a bid from the number 1 shirt almost cancels it out. Maslanka. Tomczyk. And Poland on their own opposite brick mark, and a layout 2-hand bid to gobble up the attack and send Belarus in the other direction. Hands up, where's my cuts, he says, and not again. A slippery disc, it must be lathered in Vaseline out there. Something is going on in this point. We got to get to the end of it and hope to see the end of those. Tomczyk, straight to goal. Nice and easy in the end. An ugly looking point. for some of those turnovers. A couple of unexpected, easy-looking drops. Zakskauska in the end gets the goal, and Poland is up 4-1.
Veteran cut in the end zone there from Zakskauska, really driving her defender to one side, opening up that slight break lane for her to throw into, taking advantage of the slight isolation in the end zone. I liked Poland coming down there with a zone. I thought that was a really smart move, especially in this wind. But that zone wasn't a zone that puts pressure immediately on the thrower. It was more a zone that allows the swing passes with lots of time. And actually, I think in this wind, that's one of the difference makers. Most of the drops that we've seen have been discs where the catcher has a minute to think about the catch. With this gusty wind, the disc moves up and down a lot. If you're not focusing on it really closely, you might not get your hands in the right place. And I think from Belarus, we're not seeing any lack of skill. We're not seeing any lack of intention. We're just seeing first game jitters. And I think so much of it will be ramping up the belief in themselves, the knowledge that they've made it here, that they know they can do this. And focusing the eyes on the disc as well. In that wind, you have to watch it all the way into your hands. And as soon as they start catching it, they'll be on a roll.
Execution only. You're right. They should. They've been able to generate the spacing's right. Everything else should be enough to keep their confidence. Let's see them execute here on what they know they can do. Budnik completes first pass of the possession, and Belarus hangs on to that one. Wind a major factor, as we've mentioned. Kalchitsky through the zone, but the zone is really clamping down. Now they've got room, and it goes too far. The deep defender was behind, but the throw was in front, and Poland will get it back.
Love to see that play, though. I think they really took on a lot of options through the cup. Poland didn't look like they were expecting them to break the cup that aggressively, and it worked for them. A last-minute bounce off the hands, but good movement up until there.
Marsalek brings the disc into play for Poland. Handlers cooking in every which direction. Too far out, or so I thought, but great bid to keep it up. Poland nearing midfield here. Pajak, high stall count, and gets away from him. Great defense by Belarus. Good mark and good handler coverage.
Yeah, amazing handler defense there. That made all the difference.
Belarus again looking for the break. Now great engagement on the second try. Budnik. Forward, and a execution error gives it back to Poland. Tomczyk taking his sweet time now, letting his team set up, letting everybody gather, or regather, would you, their nerves after a few drops in the possession. And here comes Poland. Shot, big gainer, waiting for a cut for goal. Wanted the forehand break, but it wasn't quite available. Now side to side work. Marsalek. And that throw gets away and goes to turf with immediacy.
Very physical mark there, quite a close mark. Might have potentially affected that throw, but no call on it. So happy to keep playing.
Budnik upfield. Starinsky, he lets loose. Unleashes the big one, it's floating. Defense had it read all day long and knocks it away. Does Milanovic.
Yeah, when the disc hangs for so long in that end zone, the wind's pushing towards it, the defense really does have an advantage because the offense has to think about staying in bounds, tracking the disc, where's my defense, how am I going to catch it? All the defense has to think about is I'm going to stay on my person and go up and just get in the way. So defense definitely has the advantage in that end zone. Harder to put up those hooks.
And made it work for them there. And timeout, I think a good opportunity for that timeout in this long point. Both teams with a few careless, we'll say, errors that could have been prevented. Now a chance to talk about it, think about it, and draw something up to get back in the right direction.
Definitely. I think it's a good shout here. I think both teams probably want to bring their mental focus a little bit closer back in towards the team. It's really early in this game, and often opportunities to practice mental toughness might come later in the game, but I actually think given the first couple of points that we had, this is a perfect opportunity for each team to really practice ramping up their mental toughness, recognizing this is a fight on our hands, both against the other team and against the wind and the elements to some extent. This heat is about to start affecting these athletes, but to recognize that it's a battle you can take on, it's a battle you can win, and recognizing what are the things that they can change and what are the things they can't change. And I think the things that we know they can change are they can, particularly the Belarusian team, we know they can start catching it. So it's just time to get some of those hands together in the right places.
That's right. Forget what's happened is what I always like to say when it is a string of unfortunate events. Same with the celebrations too. You should keep everything in a. You should play the way you would like. I like to say to play as an even keel when you score, celebrate quickly, and then reset to some neutrality. And the same thing when you get scored upon. No matter what, if they know if they're at their best, they can do this. How do you get yourself to play your best? How do you got to get there? Is it a matter of forgetting? Is it a matter of ramping intensity? There's many methods for deployment to get that mental toughness. Let's see what both of these teams opt for as we get back into this game with a 4-1 lead for Poland and their disc in hand. 15-second call we hear from the scorekeepers, doing a great job at this tournament. As we say, all the volunteer staff, all the crew, keeping it real, bringing it to you in your homes, maybe at your workplace, taking bathroom breaks, who knows, finding ways to get this EUC action. Alti TV bringing it to you on fan seat here from Győr, Hungary. Tomczyk in his own ends, a great break under the hand of the mark. Those are the simple things that often go unseen or unappreciated. And another great hand by Tomczyk. Now he rips it. Length of the field, needs to bid, but it finds the turf first. Bodies tumbling all over. No call. I think it was all incidental and after the play. Belarus again.
Great friendly interaction between the players after that play there. No hard feelings.
Now Belarus goes to the other end. It's hanging. Defense is behind the action. And the Belarusian receiver had every bit of that, but couldn't squeeze the hand in the end. Could have signed her name on the top of it if she had a Sharpie there. Unfortunate for her.
Almost the exact same throw and play that we just saw Poland get a D on, but that time the Belarusian player tracked it down a little bit better. Feet are in the right place, eyes are in the right place, hands just haven't quite connected yet.
And once again, Marszalek with the disc winds up the forehand. Tomczyk engaged. Two of them work well together behind the disc. Miljanovic centered with to Pajak. Tomczyk. Two-end zone looks to be there. The Mac does just enough to keep it away. Not quite enough on that one. Maxim Cis with the deep smack.
Yeah, great effort to get up and get a hand on that. I think from the Polish side, they're having great success with these inside-out flicks. Be nice to see Belarus see if they can stop some of that. But now it looks like we're seeing Poland come out on D with a zone. With Belarus going into the wind, it'll be interesting to see how that affects how this zone works.
Playing to the sideline, they've got them in their desired trap position to Poland, but Belarus breaks, and Budnik moves it upfield. Another, bit of contact there, a hard bit of contact. Tomczyk came through to make the D. Receiver is down and holding her knee. We will do nothing but hope for her to be getting up feeling safe. for the time being.
Yeah, tricky play, that one. Don't think the defender saw the Belarusian player's position exactly. Calls for a medic are coming out onto the pitch, so we'll pause play for that. It's a lot of discussion in the mixed division about this. It can be really difficult when you've got players with such different heights and sizes on the pitch. There's a higher potential for collisions in which the momentum of one player is a lot greater than the momentum of another player, much higher capacity for injury. It's been great to hear discussions about that ongoing and about how we can avoid that. In this particular instance, it's difficult because I think both players were a bit blindsided by the other. So yeah, we hope for the player to be all right.
Tomczyk obviously had very little he could do to avoid that contact. He kind of just turned, looked over his shoulder, and by the time his body swung around, he was into the injured Belarusian player. Happy to see her walked off the field. The medic's been called, and hopefully that will be dealt with on the sideline, but not to prolong our game too much here. We will get straight back into the action, and we saw that disc go to ground. Obviously, the foul was called and not contested, and Belarus still has disc in hand.
And again, another mental toughness opportunity exercise here for Belarus. If a player of yours goes out, injured by someone on the other team, it's either an opportunity to get frustrated and upset and worried, or an opportunity to reconsolidate and say, you know what, doesn't matter, doesn't affect our game, we love our teammate, we're going to keep playing.
And the zone maintains for Poland. It looks like an effective zone. They're really making Belarus work, but Belarus are finding ways to get through it. Budnik now in an end zone situation, and a very casual, I call that a dad in the park throw, the backhand from under his armpit. Not the throw of choice for that situation. Pajak, gainer. Miljanovic puts it deep. Well read and well received downfield. Now Poland in end zone situation. Kaplinska gets it forward. Special in for goal. Pajak scores. The long shot sets it up. 3 throws later, they're in. Poland up 5-1 in the early stages.
Yeah, scoring that goal there, Pajak, he's given us a fun fact about himself, which was that he fell down throwing a pull at the last windmill. Didn't fall down catching that point. Great cut, making it into the end zone. And just 20 years old, but has been playing for 6 years. So a lot of great experience with a lot of young legs. It makes a good combination.
And that's Spezia, who made the big play on the huck. I called her Special based on my phonetic reading of what I see in these foreign names. And ironically enough, that is her nickname, so not too far off. It's as though I knew.
And a fun fact about Spezia is that she worked at the zoo as a trainer of African fur seals. So if you have any questions about sea life, that might be the player to ask.
Yeah, how do they get those beach balls to balance on their nose? They must glue them on, surely. "5-1 Poland. Playing defense. Here's the pull. Belarus. Now would be a good time to respond. Callahan. Hands up in a bit of frustration even early in the stall count because he has nothing. And Belarus playing Callahan. Callahan in a very difficult spot, closing his thrower's lane. Ishchanka on his sideline, waiting for developments. Gets the centering throw. Now with space. Callahan. Deep shot. Lots of company there. Who's going to win this pack grab? Second effort. Big grab. Could have gone to ground there, but Makai gets up confidently with the disc. Now Belarus. For goal. They are in, and as we wanted, they did respond. Ivachanka with the goal.
Yeah, great play there, great presence of mind. And I think watching that, you didn't feel like any of those passes were worrying. You know, going hard throws into the wind. The players all had a lot of confidence in their catches. We weren't seeing any of the nervous bobbles from before. We did see, obviously, that pass go up into traffic, but amazing second grab layout to go for it. So I think we're seeing Belarus get into their stride, get a bit more confident, remember that they can catch and can throw, and really, yeah, putting one away on the board, which is great.
There's the pack grab. Here's the second effort. Now he definitely had both hands under that. That one counted. Ivachanka got the goal in the end. As we see here, she's one of the most calm and modest players of this Belarus team and works as an artist and an architect. So a little shout out to her. Job well done. Certainly seemed the calm part there, catching that goal.
Also worth pointing out that on this Belarusian team, there are not that many women. On our roster, we have 8 women listed on a team of 24. So they're doing a lot of work for their team here, pulling a lot of weight, and I think playing really, really well.
Will get tougher for them, surely, as this week goes on, with a modest roster as far as their ladies go. Belarus looking to take advantage of a turn in the Polish end. Pick called a double bicep. Some of the sign language there, they got an elbow to the head there. A potential injury from a hand signal. That could be a first.
People say you can never hand signal too much, but that might be an example of it.
Look at him directing traffic with his hand. Put the thrower he wanted to the blind side of the face mark. But the swinging hand of Tarashenko couldn't clasp on the disc there. The two working out the start spot here. Callahan! Goodness gracious. Belarus scored the most impressive way. Callahan to bring it within 2, and Belarus are finding some excitement here.
Is that Tarasenko with the Callahan?
It does indeed look like it.
Looks like it. Who's been nominated by his team as their most spirited player, which is awesome. Very good at the rules and very good at the game. That'll be a huge boost for Belarus there, I think.
Here's another look at it. Just a step in front layout on the inbound. Good handler coverage there. You can't stress its importance enough to break up a play at any spot on the field. Coverage defense like that can pay huge dividends when you do it in the opposing end zone. Nothing more rewarding.
Especially in this wind, when what we've learned from this game so far is that passes are quite likely to go a little bit different than where you think, and that reset cutting is really hard.
So Poland now giving up a deuce 2 in a row. See how they respond. Another turn, another opportunity for Belarus. Kanankovic centering. Lysyankov. Oh, bump on the mark, but play through. No problem. The backhand to the far side. Ivachenka. Backhand fake now gives. It's Lysyankov. Now Kudnik. Belarus attacking. Dump. Nobody on the far side of the field right now. Everybody working in this third of the field. That shot into a tight space. Still chipping away at meters here, maintaining possession though. Our Belarus shot for goal, layout comes, breaks it up, and gives Poland a chance to go the length of the field.
Yeah, great defense there from Poland. Belarus did an amazing job, definitely pulling together their offensive coordination, feeling a lot more confident and connected, but stifling defense from Poland on that end zone line, and a layout D is always a good way to get possession back.
And that one gets away right from the mark there. Marsalek doesn't let that one fly the way she intends. Belarus, Kudnik points to the spot where he's going to bring it back in, where that disc left the field proper. Belarus, can they get their second consecutive break? Can they make it 3 in a row? Not with casual hands like that. And he's off to the races. Black, it's put, it's high enough, it's gonna count. What a throw to make it hurt for Belarus. They looked like they were there. They looked like they could maybe close the gap. And just as they let it go, just as they played casual, Poland dug in a dagger to extend the separation.
And some visible annoyance there from Kananovic, who the reset pass bumped off his fingers and then he got thrown over for that end zone throw. It's tough because that was not much he could do about that throw, and I think, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the response to this is.
So Poland, after avoiding disaster there, as far as their perspective is concerned, pull to play defense, up 6-3, doubling up on Belarus right now. And Belarus with the wind at their back. Wind at their back, but gusty, swirly wind, not vicious in one direction. It's coming and going. Callahan. And the defense comes off, and the throw is off target. Anufrujik calls Kudnik over. Sorry, that's Sauderna. Kazmarzak gets one away, hand on that one. Little fist pump celebration from the defender. Kazyuk happy with the way she got her hand out there.
Yeah, and I think that's what we'd love to see, a bit more of celebrating the successes, getting pumped up as a team, the whole team getting really excited about blocks like that.
That one goes to nothing. Kick D, shin D.
The lesser seen shindy.
Not the most common body part to generate turns with, but
won't turn it down.
You'll take them any way you get them.
So I think we have only seen a vertical stack match offense from either of these teams so far. We've seen a bit of zone and corresponding zone offense, but neither team looking to go horizontal stack yet in this wind, which might be a bit of a surprise, as horizontal can be quite a good response to wind.
Any change up at this state would probably be beneficial. What is this push pass? Unbelievable. He looks back and said, I had no other options. What else do you want me to do, says Kananovic, but that one came out looking awfully sloppy.
Did, and a bit of visible frustration from teammates to each other. Sometimes that can fire teammates up. Sometimes there are teams that thrive off of demanding high things of themselves, and sometimes it can push them over to the edge. Bobbled catch there. That was a good throw and a great read, but again, as we're seeing, the wind is making things much more difficult than they look.
Maslanka takes it off the head. They call that a falcon in Australia.
Is it a good thing?
No, you never want the ball or the frisbee off your head. You can make a catch off a falcon and then it becomes highlight material, but still not the optimal as far as the receiver's perspective goes. Belarus with the disc. Callahan upfield, spiking Viking defense there by Mlodzikovska.
Mlodzikovska is a physiotherapist. She wrote that she came to her first Frisbee training after several months of her friend convincing her. And it's been 6 years since then, so clearly she liked it quite well.
Yeah, to be making national teams, she must have done something right.
Only 22 years old, though, so playing for 6 years already, that age.
Wearing her age as her number on her back, and the centering pass straight to timeout. Poland gonna have a think about it while they're up 6-3 here in Győr for mixed round 1.
Sunny Győr. I think it's worth pointing out that the heat is really elevating here. We don't have a readout with us, but it is definitely hot.
Probably about 100 degrees if I were to guess.
Yeah,
something
Celsius.
like that.
Yeah,
3
yeah.
digits for sure.
And there's not really any shade that the teams can take advantage of here. In some of the other pitches, definitely in the stadium, there's a bit of shade that the teams can gather into for their halftimes and timeouts. But here, there's really nothing. So even though this timeout will give them a chance to cool down and get their breath back, they won't escape from the sun. They won't escape from the heat, which can really take a toll on players.
Yeah, they're not going to stop sweating at all in this timeout. That is for sure. So lots of action here at EUF. So many storylines, so much news. News coming at us from all angles. It's in fact 29 degrees Celsius, just a shade off 100.
Very precise weather reading. Thanks very much. Very helpful.
Benji Reese helping out on all fronts here. Only getting hotter today, I think. Expected high of 33 is what I believe.
And today's not expected to be the hottest day either. It's supposed to get hotter throughout the week. So yeah, I think we just saw the Belarusian team handing around an ice pack between them to hold on to. I think that's a great call. I've heard of teams bringing a cooler with ice in it and with spare jerseys that they put on underneath their jerseys to keep cold. That's a great tactic. Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear how teams have prepared for and adjusted to this heat, particularly on the turf.
This is the hottest field in the venue. Well, let's see what they do from the timeout.
So they've got a vertical stack again, quite close to the handlers, which might make sense given the fact that it's going, well, I would say it's going into the wind, but actually the wind's mostly died down right now, so it's pretty even. Possibly a chance for the teams to take advantage of this flatness and execute their normal game plans.
Zakskowska centering, and that one gets away. Out of the timeout, they moved well for 3 passes, turned over. That one goes too far and will roll possibly to Budapest.
Yeah, Pimaku is making that deep cut a few times and put a lot of great effort into it, but possibly not the exact right timing for the throw to go just as he was cutting under, and it was still going quite deep. And great defense by the Russian player as well, very nearly getting in there and messing up that up-the-line pass, making it really difficult, potentially rushing the throw. It's hard to always tell what causes a turnover. There's always a lot of inputs, a lot of pressures that add up to it, but it definitely can affect a thrower's mental state if they have someone inches away from getting the D on the up-the-line throw.
Kazimierczak picks up the disc. That one to Maslanka. He goes to turf to pick it up. Kept alive, playing in their own end. Mlodzikovska. That one gets away, almost bailed out, but no, says the Belarus defender. A streaking cut to end zone was hand up, begging for the disc, but it gets reset instead. Calling his shots like Babe Ruth. This time he hangs on. Now he's on the doorstep, resets. Can Belarus cash in? Still resetting, still 5 meters out. There's the shot for goal. Belarus cashes in. I thought it was Shevchenko. I'm wrong. It was Bogdanovic. She's got the goal. Belarus chips away at the gap. Back within 2, 6-4 right now.
Great execution on that point. I think it was a bit of chasing away the Devils maybe there for Belarus. We had that bubble, and then keeping the focus and taking that second, third effort and making it into a catch. So potentially the answer is, you may bubble it, but keep looking at it. This wind is a bit crazy. It's forcing the disc really fast into your hands. It may be lower than you expect, it may be higher than you expect. Poland's doing a great job of adjusting to that, and I think Belarus is now saying, we can do that too. We can take several efforts at this disc, and really patient, calm dump swinging resulting in that score. And Bogdanovic has a beloved son, Ilya. Her teammates have put him in there for us to shout out, so shout out to Ilya.
Belarus set to pull. There's the whistle, and they are indeed ready. And we are once again underway. 6-4. Poland picks up. Marsalik puts it into play. Special. Special again. Shot deep, too much on it. Belarus. Chance to break.
It's a really tough throw there. I think we've seen a couple of throws come out on that side, and I think it's tough because you definitely want some outside in curve in order for it to meet the player where they're coming. But as we saw there, a little bit of outside in can turn into a lot of outside in this wind, and can really force it to look a lot more like a bladey disc. So a lot of loft needed on that with the wind throw.
More of an outside out.
Yeah, an outside down, unfortunately. Another timeout called there. I think that's good. I assume it's 2 timeouts per half?
And a floater.
And a floater. We'll check on that for you, but either way, calling a lot of them now in this first half, which I think it makes a lot of sense. It's hot. 2 per half. And it makes a lot of sense to keep your teams cool, but you never know how long the half is going to last, and you might need them later on as well.
But always good to use them, especially getting a bit closer to the end of this first half. It's tough to give them up and assume you can save them for later, and then get a run against you, and you waste your timeouts, or lose rather your timeouts. So to that end, late half action, not a ridiculous move to take when we have got into our 48th minute here. So we are just beyond what would be halfway for time, and not quite at what would be halfway for points. So the way this game's moving now, it looks like it will be a game that'll go to time cap. But of course, we'll see how that plays out.
And the scorekeepers just reminded us that there is a half cap. So at 50 minutes, there'll be a cap for half. So we might not have half at 8. It might be at a lower number. We'll see.
30 seconds remaining.
30 seconds till we're back in play. With those 30 seconds, I will mention again some of the buzz around here. The Ulti League you've seen shared around over the last couple days is something to take note of. The elite players of Europe, most certainly. Have a look, ultileague.net, a proposal essentially to see what Ultimate might look like in a league atmosphere in Europe, with some of the expenses being covered for. So not quite professional Ultimate, but an incarnation of sorts that they're working on. So have a look, get some excitement behind it, and nominate yourself if you are consider yourself elite in this continent. Here comes Belarus. Good string of passes, bobble, catch. to keep it alive. That one goes outside, left-hand catch to keep possession for Belarus. Up and over. They've had a couple speculators already in this point. Let's see how they finish. And they finish with a D against them. Sviral. Shivriel, rather, with the run through D.
Yeah, great pressure there. I think Belarus were doing a great job of moving it really quickly, but the Russian match defense putting on a lot of pressure.
Black goes deep. Many in the area. That was a great bid by the Polish receiver, Special. He didn't have position. He may have jumped over. He called a foul, but he may have initiated contact coming from where he did.
We're about to get a replay on this now so we can have a bit of a closer look.
50 minutes!
I think he's got a case. It's not a clear-cut bit of contact any which way you look at it. He was out of position, but he read it much better. He went up, he got a hand on it, and you see the Belarus defender actually brought his hand backwards, and there was some contact. So they were both moving in opposite directions. They both kind of got into each other, and I think the contested foul is probably the best resolution of this this particular play.
And during that discussion, the call for 50 minutes went up, so the cap is now on for half.
Back in action. Black goes around. Marsalek to Black. The 1-2-1-2 action. Black hammer. End zone. Company breadbasket. Over the defender's shoulder into the waiting arms there. Poland gets away with one. It's Shivriel with the goal. Black threw that hammer into a nice spot to make it count.
Yeah, that was a really impressive read. I thought she didn't have position when the hammer went up, and I thought it would be a really difficult job for her to get around the defender and into the right place for that hammer. But kept calm, kept moving. Really nice read.
So the cap went off in that point. That means after this point we will have halftime, regardless of score. If it is Poland, they get there by points just the same. But even if Belarus gets it, it will be halftime, which is kind of anticlimactic, because if Belarus does get it, we get to a 7-7 situation, which of course is our galaxy point scenario. But it would be squashed in this situation. So let's see what happens. Big ripping forehand pull. Belarus knocks down, collects, and then a little trip over on the first pass.
And a zone look from Poland, but a call on pitch. It's like potentially an injury called, or a stoppage of play called, but because it occurred from a collision with another player, the Belarusian player doesn't have to come off.
Roshenka. Kaziuk. Polish zone. Roshenka. Lot of pressure around the disc there. Bimachov. Roshenka. Nearing midfield, right in front of our cameras. Roshenka. Polish zones, maintains. Mackay wants it back awfully close to this sideline now. Scoop over top Rauschenka gets it through the middle. Now a little bit of space the zone had to adjust to. Rauschenka. Two Rauschenkas on the field right now. Into the end zone for a goal. Pikochov counts it. Our scoreboard was all unbalanced before. We were nowhere near a Galaxy point as we suspected. It did kind of play with my brain there, but I do, like Ron Burgundy, just read what's on the telestrator. It's 7-5. It is halftime. It's not Galaxy point. Teams will take a break here and come back for more action. Okay, we're getting caught up on all the fine details here. The soft cap did go off what was 2 points ago and was recognized. The last point played, and now this will be a point to take half. So the scoreboard now fixed. There still will be no Galaxy point. Poland may still get to 7, or to 8 rather, and have a points half. If Belarus answer and make it 7-6, we will still take a half.
No. Sorry, half is at 8. It's a soft cap half, so half will be at 8.
Half is at 8.
Yeah. So the time cap just goes off in case it's a really low scoring game to set us a lower target for half. But in this case, we just about made the target even though the time cap went off. So we're still playing to 8 for this half. So Belarus still has an opportunity to tie it up here, or even to even it up. But
Tomczyk with the disc. Moves forward. Attacking brick mark at the center. Well, closer than the brick mark rather. Tomczyk almost to goal, not quite in. Maslanik, Tomczyk. Tomczyk into the corner. Into a tight spot. Deroka with the goal. Deorochka.
And there's that really great Polish IO that we've been seeing, a lot of IO flicks. It's a really strong throw across the whole team, finds that space, and that is halftime now that we've reached 8, so we don't have to worry about numbers anymore.
This is real now? This is the third time we've thought there might be a halftime. This one is legit.
This one looks pretty real. The players are all going to take some shade, and we'll take a break too.
Be right back with you. second half underway, but with a pull that was substandard, so we'll have another second till we're actually back in play here.
It's good to see both teams in the half taking advantage of some of the shade, moving into just behind the bleachers, hopefully cooling themselves down a little bit. But interesting to see how each of the teams came out a little bit differently. Poland coming back onto the pitch, singing and dancing and having fun, and Belarus a bit more serious, a bit more quiet, a bit more focused. We'll see if that translates into nerves or into efficiency.
Shot deep right away, defense in front. Poland will walk it to the line on a little bit of an angle towards the center, to be frank. Special, the 1-2 game over there with Miljanovic. Inside out break. Black gets the disc. He wonders why the contact was coming. Special. Up line, well done for Poland. Now the shot to end zone. A few bodies around it, but number 1, Kananovic, comes and cleans it all up for the defense. Now Belarus, other way. Well controlled by Ivachanka. Kalyada. Defense coming off to force those throws back to the sideline. Nothing easy upfield. And a drop there by Roszczanska.
Not sure if the defender got a hand on that or not, but the pressure was definitely enough to make it a really difficult catch.
Miljanovic. Ooh, Special. Thought it was behind him. It was. But he second-guessed his ability and ended up bobbling it and giving the opportunity for a slap-away D. Looked to break with a backhand. Didn't like what he saw. Whew, throws to a small space there. Kalyada gets it. Fakes a hammer, but with not much conviction. Upline pass will go to turf after the layout, and now they've got some space on a 1-2. Miljanovic winds up, moves forward. Again, Poland, now Special sends to Black. Wind gets a big hold of it and sends it to the sideline.
It feels a bit like Poland are rushing a few of these shots into the end zone. We're seeing quite a lot of people with the disc gesturing about where they'd like their cutters to be, which can be really helpful communication, but if you've only got one throw in mind and you insist on throwing that, sometimes the wind can take it away from you.
Belarus in that coffin corner, not quite coffin as we said earlier. Joanna let us know they do have the wind at their back from here, but still playing in their end zone. Tense situation, that one picked up, kept alive. Ivachanka. Continuation, wind up, backhand, too far.
Yeah, just out of reach there. It was tough because the cut had started to have separation and definitely the same picture in the minds of the thrower and the receiver there. But again, the wind's going to take that one. It's going to make it float a lot further than you think. You might want a bit more touch on it, possibly a bit of a leading edge throw to give it some hang time in that space, but it's a tough one. Going with that wind, it's always going to go further than you think. We are seeing a horizontal or split stack here from the Polish team. It could well be a horizontal with a lot of good spacing for those two first initial middle cutters. And we're also seeing Belarus responding with some quite nice adjustment and poaching.
Yeah, they did good to take away an under and a deep and just ignore those sideline receivers. Tidy tactic. Those sideline receivers don't necessarily get too much of the action, and if they do, it's through the middle. Black. Oh, casual looking drop again.
We're seeing some really good handler defense from both teams here, taking away a lot of that small space action, really fast footwork to keep up with the handlers as they make the cuts.
Payonk couldn't handle that one. Shot to goal. The defense did enough to make the receiver second guess, didn't make a play on the disc, but did get in the way and did cause enough distraction. Kananovic couldn't haul it in.
And again, I think that's the kind of throw that probably might come off in less windy conditions because the receiver has a bit more time to predict where it's going to go. It moves a little bit less. But neither of these teams adjusting 100% to the windy conditions, I think. There might be a bit more talk about which tactics to use based on what the wind is doing.
Yes. Special launched that one. Black with a great catch, a whole bunch of contact, nothing called. Poland now in space. Black on the doorstep and can't get away with it. All alone on the doorstep, leads Special too far, and the wind pops it out of play.
The wind is really the 8th, 9th, and 10th defender on this pitch. It's doing lots of work, and it is upwind, downwind, but it's also inconsistent, so it's giving you not just one consistent issue to think about, but 100 different consistent issues.
Huck and D, not a bad option, and they've gone for the Huck part of it anyways, and they will have to D, but only missed by a small margin there.
And possibly a bit casual going for that with just one hand. It was definitely out in front of him, but so much opportunity for a disc to bounce off just that one hand.
And it's coming back on an uncontested stall count by the hand signals I believe I saw. Which hurts. Maybe they're going to think Huck and D a little earlier in the set.
There's a huge difference to be starting on D back in your own end zone, forcing Poland to go the whole way into the wind, and them starting on their own end zone line. And it's a much bigger job for the Belarusian defense.
Let's see how Poland sets up from the corner of the attacking goal. It's Black who is walking to the disc. They've got 3 in the end zone and 3 handlers helping out behind the disc. Black again, center of the field, 5 meters out. Dumps back. And a clap drop on the dump. Miljanovic can't hang on. And Belarus picks it up and has called a timeout, said, hey, don't bother with that deep cut. We're taking another break.
Yeah, but definitely worth shouting out. Number 1, Kananovic, tireless deep cutting in this point. He's made about 6 or 7 half-pitch deep cuts in this heat, and without great success, partially due to the difficulty of the wind. So hopefully he's feeling excited about his ability to continue making those and not just tired.
Let's hope we get some more out of Kananovic, Belarus, Poland, everyone out there. We know we're going to get a little bit more. Let's hope we get it of high quality action as per the expectation at a tournament as prestigious as this Continental Championship, the European Ultimate Championships 2019. Again, brought to you by Ulti TV on Fanseat on your device. Stay tuned. Keep the action, refresh your pages, check both fields, get your subscriptions, have a group party, watch and enjoy the class of the continent playing this wonderful sport.
Yeah, I think something that will be interesting to watch as the second half unfolds that I think we've seen a little bit of as the play has continued is in this heat players are getting tired, and also because this turf will be grippier than grass and potentially what people are used to, we're seeing a lot more contact between the teams, bumps on the mark, players coming through and bumping other players, and sort of receiving interactions. Not too many calls. I think both teams seem quite happy with the level of contact, but definitely worth watching out for, particularly as legs get more tired, you're possibly less in control of your body. Turf can be a really dangerous field to be playing on, to take hits on, and so I think it'll be worth watching out for how this game progresses from a contact perspective. And Belarus coming out in a split stack. which is actually a really cool thing to see, I think, at this point in the game. Mostly from them, we've seen a vertical stack, but I'm really happy with this sort of slightly different thing. Ask Poland to think a bit more, potentially give them some more fights into that deep space. Yeah, I'm super happy to see, unfortunately, a turn and a drop there.
Special hopes to make pay, but another turn. As he puts palms to face there, they cannot fathom the amount of unforced errors in this game. Belarus. Defense all over that, but possession retained. Polska, another turn. That one a forced turn. She got a hand on it. Kaplinska gets the D and gives her team another look at a short field. There's the around, block with the disc. Back to Payonk, and he's let another one get away.
Lots of visible frustration from the Polish team there to their teammates. It's tough when you have a miscommunication. Both people can feel like, I thought you'd be there, I thought you'd do this. The question is kind of what do you do after that? After it's happened, after you have these continual turnovers. We've seen mostly first 3 passes turnovers now in this point. This is, no team wants to be in this position, but actually it's one of the most useful positions you can be in.
And now we've gone the length of the field. Finally cashing in Miljanovic. Payonk says enough of this. Let's just put it straight to the end zone. If we're going to turn it over, might as well turn it over in the other end. And hey, you never know what might happen. And in this case, they come away with a goal for their efforts.
Definitely great to just see that being punched in and a bit more action taken. For Belarus right now, it's a really interesting situation. Often at practice, if you're having a weekend-long practice, you might be sort of in the last scrimmage on the last Sunday. And I've heard a lot of captains say, this is actually the most important one because when do you get to be this tired and keep playing? And for Belarus, you could say a similar thing here. When do you get to play at a high-level match like this, having made the number of mistakes that we've made? Obviously, you don't want to have made those mistakes. And if you go back, you might undo it. But at this point, it's an unparalleled opportunity to practice mental toughness, to wipe away those mistakes, to say, can we play at the level that we want to play at and be the team that we want to be? We're tired, it's hot, it's windy, we know what the score is, we know the first pass turnovers that we wish we could erase, but can we still bring it back to where we want it to be? And those are the kind of questions you need to answer if you want to be competing in the higher levels of national teams. And it's not a fun situation to be in, but it is incredibly useful.
That's how you learn to win, by taking lessons from your losses and making those adjustments. Budnik from deep in his end zone in the Callahan country. Poland comes with a zone as well. A lot of pressure. Every throw is a celebration here. They've got it now, but still a very similar situation. Budnik can't get up for it. The throw goes too high. Yeah, and Poland start from the end zone line.
Great decision to go down there with zone, knowing you've got the wind with you on the pull. It'll give you a lot of hang time. It'll go deep into that end zone, really stifling pressure on those handlers there. And the Polish sideline, not super numerous, but quite loud down there. You could hear a lot of the celebration, a lot of the support coming.
It's as though we could feel that one coming from the pull, and where Budnik picked it up, and seeing the white jerseys streaming down the field. Adam Tomczyk, one of the old hands of this Polish side, pops it up and in. Small discussion, but very shortly after, hands up in the air, Tomczyk signifies it's a goal as Zakrzkowska gets the goal, and Poland extends their lead to a double-up situation, 10-5. Tomczyk on the assist there. We just heard that he is one of the old hands of this Polish side and of Polish league play. He runs a team called Keep Out Dogs, or which translates to, but obviously Beware of Dog, I think is the more appropriate translation, a team that's been around for a long time and that he puts a lot of grunt work into. So good on him for that. Keep up the great work. Ultimate administration by the athletes is something that has propelled our sport. So we need to keep that up and keep giving back in every which way.
Yeah, and likewise, there's a couple of players on the Belarusian team that I'd love to shout out. Pavel Budnik, number 55. He's the president of the Belarusian Flying Disc Federation, and he's also the founder of the Belarusian mixed team. So a player who's clearly put in a lot of effort to get this team here. He's also, I believe, the coach of this team. So lots of different hats on one player, putting a lot of effort and work in. You really need that in a sport where we are our own administrators, our own coaches, our own captains. You need people to take it on themselves to say, yeah, we're going to bring this first team from our country to the European Championships. So, yeah, I'm sure his team is grateful for all of his work.
Super stoked on Budnik. He even came over here to give us 5 minutes of his time before the game to help with pronunciation. Bit of contact there, but nothing to be called. Got up. That shot went early, I thought, and I actually, because of the players on the sideline, didn't even see the Belarusian receiver until very late. And Poland picks up and gets going, opting not to walk it to the line and just to get on the front foot. And so far, it's looking like a good option for them. 3 throws in to the possession. 4 throws in, and they're not looking as strong. Belarus gets the disc back again. Callahan saunters over the disc. Callahan gets the disc back in the end. Fakes hammer. Up line was there. Opts not. Goes the inside out break. Now on the doorstep. Belarus shaking and baking. Looking for any opening, now gets it across. Another quick one, Bimakov. She's wide open and he still had to take 2 looks at it before he threw it. Ivachenka gets the goal. A odd little delay on the delivery there, but in the end she stayed open and the throw came. Belarus strike back with a goal of their own.
Yeah, definitely very funny movement in the end zone there. You could tell the thrower had assumed that something had called because her receiver was so open. But some miscommunication potentially with the Polish defender there. But yeah, great point for Belarus to get that on. I think 6-10 is a much different score from 5-11. You want to try and make sure you're not being outdone by twice as much. And yeah, a great point to keep in the game and to keep playing here. I think it's worth, on that D in the end zone on the previous possession from Belarus, a nice defense from the Polish player, but quite a lot of contact after the defensive bit as well. And I think it'll be interesting to see if that continues happening because it can be really tough on this turf, but it can be also really dangerous. So cap for the full game will be 100 minutes. So we've still got 13 minutes until cap. It'll be we might get to point cap or we might get to time cap. It'll depend how the next couple of minutes go.
I'd say Poland got to pull their socks up to get another 5 here. I'm guessing time cap, but they're both achievable at this stage. Miljanovic forward. Spak back to Miljanovic. A low flowing flick there. Raba again. She winds up. She puts the big one. It didn't go as planned. Sails out of bounds. Wanted more in on that outside in than it ended up getting.
Yeah, and Belarus will have a bit of advantage here. Not quite in the coffin corner because I'll get to walk it up a few feet because the disc did go out of bounds before the end zone. You'll take what advantages you can get when you're trapped going upwind.
Anything and everything. Goodnick. Big D, is it coming back in? Goodness, it was! I think he could have stayed. He was in. His foot was in. He tried to make the greatest play out of it. He may have hurt himself in the process. Had he just caught and hit turf, I think his foot was down in bounds.
Definitely was an incredible athletic play, both from the Polish defender there, who got a hand on that, really intercepted that pass. But yeah, if we look back at this, yeah, I think if he'd caught it and gone to ground there, his foot was the first point of contact and he would have been in. But I think potentially, yeah, a difficult one as well, because you obviously want to save those points if you can, but at the risk of getting injured, it's a tricky play to pull off.
Yep. Let's have one more look from this angle. There's the D there, knocked out, but Wynn brings it back in. Oh, there was the foot. Very clearly he would have been in had he not attempted the greatest. Difficult decision, obviously, to make in those very short seconds, milliseconds of action.
Yep.
In that case, made the wrong decision, I guess. Could have hung on, and unfortunately it may keep him sidelined for a little bit anyways. For the duration of this point, we know for sure.
But those kind of plays could be the plays that your team needs. A piece of excellent play and effort from a teammate can be what it takes to get your whole team fired up and back into the game.
That spark.
Yeah, a play to rally around.
Miljanovic, let's see what Belarus can do on defense after their teammate does give them that spark. Oh, great play there by Chaplinska to come back under and get wide open for that huge gainer. 30 meters or more on that. Miljanovic goes backwards. So diving mark. Spack throws right through it. Raba to Spack. Miljanovic. Miljanovic took goal, not quite in. Now, yes, he was with the toe drag, and Belarus, with great spirit, happy to help out and signify it was. Goal for Poland. Pajak with that goal. 11-6 in favor of the Poles.
Yeah, great spirit there from the Belarusian team. Best perspective on the feet of the Polish player and calling them in. But also Poland still having their way with inside-out flicks, really taking whatever throws they want down that channel. Maybe that Belarus is opting to take away the arounds, because those might be dangers as well. But I think at the moment we're seeing Poland is really slicing through the defense with those inside-out flicks. So it might be a thing to consider taking away.
There's one more look at that block, and here's another look at the score that will eventuate. There's the toe drag. There's the in call. There is the 5-point lead for Poland.
For Belarus now, you might. It's always best to have the attitude that you can win any game, and you can. What's one of the great things that is about the way Frisbee works is that you have to close out every game. You're never shut out. But also a helpful mental attitude now is, what can we learn from this game? What are we gaining from being here? What do we get from every point that we score, from every D that we play? What are some of the things that we want to take forward into the rest of pool play? Because there's a whole week left of this tournament.
Take something from every game. Get better as the tournament goes on. That one's gone deep. Pikachev can't get there. And Tomczyk will pick up to put it back into play for the Poles.
Awesome run there, though. You saw him take off as soon as the disc was dished to that sideline. He put everything into that cut. He's been on most points, I think, and just really putting his all into this team, cutting really hard.
Maszlanka, Tomczyk. So Derna gets it again, but only just. Almost got away from him now. Kazmiracek. Deroka. So Derna, shot for goal. Oh, a little hesitation step and a bit of wind, and that one got too far away.
Nice vision to see that that side of the pitch was the one that was open for the receiver, but that's such a hard disc to read. That angle blading over your head and away from you while you're running into the same space can be really difficult. Get a replay of it now, I think. No, back to play.
It was there. Now we're back in. Belarus. Radovchenko. Deep shot. Laser forehand. Almost cut his head off. Handled though. Marquet. Radovchenko trying to get space for him. All the way to the other side of the field. He finds Kazyuk. Kazyuk to Ivashenka. Continued. In the attacking zone here. Belarus waiting for options. Pikachov. Comes good. Pimachov, rather. Comes good there and hangs on to the goal. 7-11. It's time for a Slurpee.
Yeah, I'm glad that Pimaku got that goal. I feel like he deserved it for the effort that he was putting in that point. Every turnover, he made an immediate, full effort sprint cut deep. He was waiting in that stack really clearly, really nicely there, and then made that slicing cut across to get that goal, but he set up a lot of stuff before that. And again, we saw earlier in the game, we saw him bobble a lot of discs and drop them. Now he's bobbling them and catching them. Take that any day.
Yep, that's a definite improvement in as far as two scenarios go.
If you have the option.
Yes, I'll take bobble catch over bobble drop every which time. So at 7-11 in the late stages of this game, 95 minutes, so we'll have 5 minutes till we get to a hard cap here at EUF Győr, Hungary. Day one action, it's all happening. Belarus set to pull. That is the captain we spoke of earlier, Pavel Budnik, to put it into play. Good looking pull on in the upwind direction. Special. Swipe with the forehand fake. Then goes to Spack. Special. Spack. Little 1-2 game. Now they're going to let some other people play. No, they're not. Just the two of them. Special again. Spack again. Special again, playing in their own end. Winds up, delivers. Doesn't have the greatest shape on it, but it's going to come down into a pack, and it's going to be caught by his receiver. He's got to be stoked about that. Chaplinska hangs on. He owes her a drink. Spack now. Center, Special. And what seemed like all was lost ended up being lost, but I thought they were just about to turn the tides on that and haul in the score. Chaplinska caught a huge one at midfield, but couldn't hang on to that one in the end to put away the point. Instead, we've got Budnik coming back with the Belarusians.
It was an amazing catch and definitely a huge pile of defense. So hopefully we'll get to replay that for you. But just, yeah, frustrating for Poland that they couldn't convert on that one. Again, I think we see the wind playing a big factor here into that end zone. Disc is going to float a lot higher than you expect it to. But now Belarus has another opportunity to keep going up pitch, upwind. They've shown that they can do that before. They've shown that they can convert on their up pitch, but unfortunately a disc goes straight to ground.
Special goes around. Upfield, Black with a disc. Poland looking good on this possession. Black inside of the opposing brick mark. Special, now they've gone backwards and through the hands. Second effort was not quite available. Shivriel couldn't hang on or couldn't quite get there off the bobble. Budnik will pick up.
It's a long point, and as we get on further towards midday, it does get hotter and hotter. So we're definitely going to see the heat impacting these athletes on this turf where it's magnified. Seeing a lot of pushing through the heat and through the tiredness.
Let's see, this point gets back in, and Poland knocks it away. Czaplinska having a point, even though she missed the one shot to goal. She had a huge point there, a D, a big gainer on the deep, and in the end comes up with the goal to put put them up to 12 now. So we've got a 5-point buffer again for Poland, looking good in these late stages.
Yeah, you could almost hear her saying, "Look, I put in all that work. I made that amazing catch. I tipped off my hand in the end zone there, but I want this point. This one's mine. I'm gonna score it. We're gonna get that turn, and I intend to be the one catching it in the end zone."
Yeah, but a Keyshawn Johnson, give me the damn ball. I mean, give me the damn disc, and she gets it. But her play demanded it. There she goes, up and easy with one hand. Still like to see two hands on that as a teammate, let's say.
It's true. In this wind, I think we've shown that there's no such thing as too many hands.
Yeah, you're making my heart flutter. So, mere seconds away from what will be our hard cap. Disc is picked up. Rauchenka. We've reached the 100-minute mark of this game. Ivachenka. Sanders, Starinsky puts it to the end zone. It looks like it's over the defender. Well read indeed by Kananovic. Belarus answers the call, puts themselves up to 8, and the gap reduces to 4.
Yeah, great point there. And while we've had 100 minutes go by on the numbers on our screen, the hard cap horn hasn't officially gone off. There's a little bit of time difference, well, what we've got on the pitch and what we've got on the stream. So we haven't heard the hard cap horn yet. The players will be playing to we've got 2 more minutes until that horn comes up, and the players on pitch will be playing to that. So we're coming up fast on hard cap. Unless this next point scored quite quickly, it'll probably be during this point. But we'll see what Poland can do. Maybe they can come out with a really fast offense.
So by the sounds of that explanation, we won't be going to a points cap for the game. We will not likely be getting to 15, unless it is a very quick Polish score, and then they can do it again. Then we can maybe play to 15, but it looks like we'll be playing to 13 or 14, depending on the outcome of this point.
Yeah. And as we learn the cap rules, we will make it clear to you.
With each new game, we get better too. That does definitely stand true in the commentary booth. A few different rules, a few different elements with every tournament that come into play that we need to learn the specificities of so that we can relay them and convey them well to you at home. Poland, that was a quick score. If it counts, he got a hand to it, but couldn't squeeze it. Could have made the highlight reel. Robel watches it slip away.
That was, a great effort to go down for that. But before that, that side stack pull play, just incredibly organized offense from Poland was beautiful. Potentially the smoothest offensive string of passes we've seen in this game. Just gorgeous. Players waiting their turn, taking the space. Would have loved to see it completed.
Instead, we see Kudnik and Belarus start their offensive possession. Nothing going for them right now, nothing to look at. Jeez, and it was thrown right into the defending hand of Mlodkowska, and they score one throw later. That's Maslanka. 13-8 for Poland. Still haven't heard the hard cap whistle, but I've got a feeling it's coming very soon. And my feeling was right.
So
I don't know how I could have anticipated that from my vantage point.
So that'll be the end of this point will be the hard cap. So it'll be whatever the score is at the end of this point, +1 is the number that we play to. That score there, really solid, really great, nice layout for it. And you kind of got the feeling that he avenged his teammate before who didn't manage to get his hands on that layout catch in the end zone. Same place, same move, but this time comes down with the hands on it.
So, play being put back in. Some discussion about the end of game logistics between players and scorekeepers as well here. Pimachov goes around over the head, not having to lay out though. Kazyuk keeps it in hand. Starinsky. Primachov. Pick called. And Starinsky, super dump, 20-meter dump there. Kazyuk puts it to end zone. Pimachov cannot get there. You see a lot of black rubber pellets flying as he slid on the ground there. It's going to be a few down the elastic band of his shorts, I'd imagine.
Yeah, taking one for the team there, laying out on turf can be a pretty rough reaction, but yeah, he's been working so hard for his team all game, and I think that's what they need to see, that effort there. Never believing the disc is down. Nice vision, poach D there, getting in the way. Opportunity for Belarus to convert now.
Belarus to the end zone, not this time either. Layout D closes the door. That's Payonk with the D. So Pimachov, he had a few errors earlier in the game, and you said the energy he's brought. I must say he's turned the tides. He's done his part. He's made up for his errors. He's had himself a heck of a game since those first 2 or 3 points. Now Poland moving it from their own end zone. This one's going to go to Special, and it's going to count. He's got one going deep, but the help defense latched on. He's all alone. Payonk. Special. He's got head movements, nods going every which direction, trying to direct traffic. Payonk goes for goal, not quite in. Black's got the disc. Looking for goal, puts it in. He's got Shriviel for the goal. 14-8. We are playing a game to 15, so we will get the points.
Yes, I think so. It seems there's some confusion on the pitch, but I think we are playing the next point, yes. So Poland has to put one more away to close out this game. Yeah, I think that was obviously a tough point for both teams. We played essentially the same possession over and over again down on this end zone. Had a lot of opportunities for Belarus to convert that, but potentially getting a little bit tired at the end of the game, a little bit keen to just put away that last point without taking the energy and time and space that it takes to reset. But they get another offensive point here, and this mixed round pool play is one game a day at this point. So there's nothing to save their energy for later in the day, and I think, you know, while it can be frustrating to have to keep playing, I think there's a lot to be learned still from this game, and there's a lot to be gained from coming out on offense here into the wind again.
Okay, so Poland, forehand pull. What a pull. That's a beauty flick pull. They can get themselves a game point situation if they get a break opportunity. For now, Budnik and Belarus do everything in their power to prevent that. Budnik with the disc. Upline goes and gets. Continuation not there immediately. Tses with the disc. He goes inside out. That one's going to be near goal line. Pack grab and pack block in the end. They swatted away. There was some contact that they're going to discuss.
Yeah, that's a hard disc, isn't it? When it's waiting up there that long in the air, there's opportunities for lots of people to get underneath it. There was quite a lot of contact, as we'll see in that pileup. It looks like the outcome is going to be a contested foul, which, yeah, it's hard to say more clearly what it should be other than that.
Yeah, it's tough to say anything else. Foul on the throw for a bad throw, a foul throw if nothing else. Tess gets it back. Oh, and doesn't do much better with it that time. Maybe even worse. Poland now with game point in hand. Wind picks up. I wouldn't be surprised to see them just put it the length of the field, but they don't have enough time to even give that an option.
It is, yeah. It's probably the strongest wind of the game right now. Really picking up so that we can get lots of action on that last point.
Jeez, look at these throws. You can tell at home, I'm sure, every one of these outside ins gets a wobble on the angle. There's a goal for Belarus. They're not going away. The game will play at least 1 point longer as Batikina scores the goal for Belarus.
Nice, efficient offense there. I think that last throw into the end zone is a tricky throw, inside out, backhand into the wind, but weighted really nicely. Thrower released it really low, taking the lessons that they have been taught by the wind so far in this game about what it's going to do to discs and really executing it for a goal.
So Poland had everything there, the wind at their back, the disc in their hand, and they couldn't close the game out. Now they've got the reverse situation, wind in their face, but they will get the first look at the disc. But they're making it just a little more difficult for themselves to end this game and take the win.
It's true. Thinking about, obviously the players on the pitch want to only be thinking about this game, but thinking into the next rounds of the tournament, for Poland, they want to close out this game as quickly as possible, preferably with an upwind score, because they want that confidence going into the next round of pool play. Like, look, we can finish this way when the pressure's on, when we need to do it. This is how we execute.
Bid through the hands of Black. He puts it length of the field. Defense gets there. Gudnik breaks up the play, and they're talking about potential contact.
Looks like the spirit captain or translator is coming over to help with the discussion.
And he will keep the disc. Miljanovic. Oh, no. No, going the Belarus gets the disc. It's a turn. Here they come. Piatru. And that was a short possession. Game point again, Poland. Marsalek, Black. Payonk off the hands, floating, and cleaned up.
Awesome defense there. Really got up early over the pack, took it down.
Kudnik got big in that pack, and now he sends it the other way. Wise move by my estimation. Caught, continued, not quite yet. ISO situation in the goal, and they've got it. They've extended this game 1 point further. Tarachenko for this goal. 10-14. Can they pull off the miracle here, Joanna?
Great question. I think 2 points ago we probably would have said no, but 2 points in a row it changes the game. It makes things different, not just on the points, but also the feeling of the game. And you see the Belarusian players, after that catch, the player made a heart shape to his teammates. You're seeing a lot more positivity. You're seeing, I think, not just in the plays, but in the attitudes of the players. You're seeing a lot more belief. A lot of that catch right there, that grab in the end zone, could have been one of those plays that we were talking about that your team rallies around. If someone gets big for the team, the rest of the team wants to help him out back. Really brings the whole spirit up. And, yeah, I think you can never count someone out in Ultimate.
I don't know, as a betting man, if I would say that it's theirs for the taking there, but as an optimist, there is a glimmer of hope, a shimmer of hope, rather, that they might just be able to do this. Let's 1 point at a time, of course. Here, let's block them again. Poland with the advantage at their back again. Let's see if they can close it out properly this time. Robel stops the roll. Domchik jacks deep straight away and caught and won. Mashlanka with the game-winning grab. Poland finish the job, get the round 1 win over Belarus in the Battle of Eastern Europeans. Umbrella going down in front. You can tell the wind is picking up. And that is indicative of some of the throws we saw during this game. It was a good first half, close, tight first half. Poland found a bit of legs. Were the better throwing team and pulled away in the second half, but a great one to be a part of, Joe.
Yeah, definitely great to call, and lovely to see a comeback happen and positivity on both sides.
Positivity prevails. Positivity and Poland, both the winners in this instance. Thank you so much for joining us. As we have mentioned and will continue to mention, we've got a whole bunch of action all day long coming to you in your living rooms. Don't go anywhere. Next round, we stay in the mixed division on both fields. We'll have Ireland and Denmark from the stadium. And right here, the host country, Hungary, the young upstart team, will take on Lithuania in a battle of up-and-coming programs in European Ultimate. Until then, I've been Stefan Rapazzo, joined with
Joanna Hamer.
To bring you this broadcast. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.